Hi there, I wanted to quickly share this message with you. This is because of a conversation I've just had on the phone about shifting representational systems and using this as a way to overcome objections when you're selling to someone face to face. Now this is something I used to do years ago when I was selling insurance and mortgages, and back then I didn't really realise the power of this system until someone used it on me completely accidentally, and it totally overcome my objection. Now, when this system was used on me, it was used by my partner, and she wanted to move house. We were living in a town, all of our friends lived very locally, my parents were quite local, and she wanted to move to the country. She wanted to get a big house, a lot of land, that kind of thing, but it was quite far away. Now, at the time, I was operating in a kinesthetic modality, and because I was in that representational system, I was tuned into the way I felt about the move. And as we were talking about it, and she asked me how I felt about it, I said I wouldn't be very comfortable. I'd feel like I was really far away from everybody, I'd feel isolated, I wasn't very happy moving out into the country and all those kind of things. So I had a lot of objections, I didn't really fancy it. Then she started talking about the kind of things we would have at the house, what it would look like, and she shifted completely naturally into a visual representational system. And when she made this shift, I started to think about the way it would look as well. So I got this image of this idyllic cottage in the countryside, rolling hills, perhaps our own forest, a stream, that kind of thing. And all of a sudden, that image really changed my perception of what it would feel like and be like to be out in the countryside living in the wilderness. And at that point, without realising what had happened until after the conversation, I switched. I did a complete 180 and I was thinking, yeah, that would be pretty good. I quite fancy the idea of that. That looks like a really nice image, and I think that's something I'd like to do. So in this instance, I was operating from a kinesthetic representational system, which is quite unusual for me. I'm normally auditory, but in this particular occasion I was kinesthetic. I was tuned into the way it would make me feel, and I didn't really like it. To be honest, it kind of scared me, the thought of feeling a little bit alone, a little bit isolated. As soon as I shifted over into the visual, I really liked the idea, and I said, yeah, we'll do it, we'll make the move. So that is shifting an objection that was connected to something huge, actually buying a house. And just that one shift, going from kinesthetic to visual, completely overcome my objections. Now, when I was using this with people with the mortgage industry and selling insurance and those kind of things, obviously when you're talking in representational systems, I used to deal with quite often two clients at a time, husband and wife, and often I'd find that one was visual and one was auditory. So I'd be saying to one, you know, if you like the look at this, then I can show you some ways that we can work out this proposal, turning to the other and saying, and how does it sound to you? And being able to work with two different people and switch between one modality to another, that kind of flexibility means that you're gaining rapport with both people. But what I found is when someone had got an objection, if you could find out what representational system the objection was in, then you could backtrack. And the way I used to do this process is you already know the benefits of the product that you're selling to the customer, the benefits that are going to be particularly suitable for them. So if you backtrack over one of those benefits and then present it back to them, and then rather than saying, how does this look to you, if their objection was in the visual, you might say, and how does it sound now? And then you shifted their modality into a different representational system where the objection might not exist. And if it's still there, then maybe try shifting again, this time into the kinesthetic. So this goes against what we usually learn when we're dealing with rapport, because usually we think this person is operating within the visual at the moment, therefore to gain rapport with them, I'm going to stay in the visual. But if we see that there's an objection there, sometimes you can sidestep that and move totally around it by shifting into another representational system. So it's worked for me in the past, and it's been done to me in the past as well. And that when it happened to me with the house, that made me realise how powerful this was. For a long time I didn't use this technique. It originally comes from Selling with NLP by Kerry Johnson. So if you've read that book and you overlooked this little tiny technique thinking it can't be that powerful, then get back to it, read that again. Or if you haven't read it, grab yourself a copy. Kerry Johnson, Selling with NLP, and have a good look through the shifting modality section, because it really, really is powerful, and it's so subtle. It's one of those beautiful things that are just really subtle. So if you sell face to face, or if you have to deal with customers, maybe just a customer complaint, then this can be a fantastic way of dealing with that. So I hope you find this information useful, and you take care. Bye.